Thank you. Thank you very much. And today, I want to talk to you about how to make your users fall in love with your apps. I don't hear myself, so if I'm shouting too much, tell me so, okay? Feel free. It's a conversation. Actually, have you ever asked yourself why we are so addicted? Why we are so connected to such devices? Why can't we take our hands off it? Let's put it in a different way. How can we make our users fall in love with the applications that we are creating? And this is exactly what I want to talk to you today. I'm going to talk a little bit about UI, user experience and emotions, and then we're going to make a deep dive into love. We are going to talk about human love and the way we are falling in love with applications, so stay tuned. Well, I'm so excited. If you want to make a great application, first of all, you have to make a nice UI, and this is what the Android guidelines tell us. Easy to use and easy to understand. Okay, here's an example. This is from a gas station in Israel. I would kindly ask you to raise your finger and point to the screen. Come on, don't be shy. Point to the screen and dial a number that you are all very well known. Try to dial a number. Do that? You simply felt no way that you can do this. Why? Because a smart guy tried to be very smart here and he twisted the keypad. So people try to press to enter the number, the PIN code, and then they press the continue. You see the continue? It's all tiered out. Why is that? Because they are clicking something, it all goes wrong, and they do it again and again and again. And then they move the finger toward the assistance button, which is located on the right side of the keypad. How do I know that? Know that? Sorry. Look at the white line. Do you see the white line above my yellow line? It's the path of despair. People try and try and try and move the finger along the keypad and simply fail to do this. Now, this is a really lousy UI. You really don't want to make such UI. This is really bad. If we're talking about UX, there's experience. If we are talking about experience, we're talking about emotions. Now, how do we use our emotions while interacting with applications? Back in the 90s, the late Professor Nass, here from California actually, suggested a great model named CASA. Remember that. Computer as social agents. What he stated was that we are human beings treating computers and applications and devices just as we treating human beings. That is, we tend to see humans in the devices and the applications that we are using. This is exactly why applications drives you nuts. And this is why you love application and you hate application. Nobody loves or hate a chair, right? You love or hate an application. And this is the model that he used. And if we're talking about emotions, what about one of the strongest emotions on earth? Love. We are going to talk about love. Why? First, it is a very important emotion. And B, even more important than that, we all, designers and developers and startups, entrepreneurs, all of us want to create applications that people will love and use. So let's have a look at love. And this is my talk is all about. We're going to talk about love. And then we understand why we fall in love with applications. And then we understand why we cheat on applications and so forth. So let's start by talking about love. Am I speaking too fast? As always. Is it okay? Okay. I'll keep on talking too fast. Okay. 20 years as a user experience designer. I'm older than most of you, probably. I keep on hearing, Jacob, make me something sexy, something attractive, something lovable, something that users will like to use. Now, is it a way of talking? No, it isn't. We have ancient subconscious mating patterns, and we use them toward applications. We are falling in love with applications. Well, okay, so if we want to understand how we fall in love with applications, first thing to do is to better understand how we fall in love with each other as human beings. Now, there are many, many theories regarding love. This is an average of many, many theories. First of all, there's the falling in love stage, the first phase. The stars are shining, the birds are singing, the sky is so blue. Where are you, my love? Do you know this feeling? This is a short, very intensive stage. Then comes 4 years of love. Why 4 years? That's life, sorry. Why 4 years? Because most theories assume that this is the time that it takes us to get a kid born and raise him or her till the stage that he or she can place with the rest of the kids of the tribe. 4 years, and then unfortunately, or fortunately, it's by the eye of the beholder, there's a loss of interest. This is love. Enough with love, let's talk about application. Okay, draw something. Anybody play draw something around here? Yes, anybody's playing draw something now? Let's look at draw something statistics. It started with the discovery. Then it went on to long-term usage. Needless to say, much shorter than 4 years. It was almost 4 months, but it was a plateau. And then loss of interest. Look familiar to you? Yes, it does, and it should. Why? Because we are subconsciously falling in love with the applications we use. And if you will understand that, we'll better know how to design applications. Now, since I know that you don't believe me, let's address a more credible source. MTV Networks made a big research a few years ago. How do we engage with applications? Guess what they found? They found that there are 4 stages. The discovery, and then the adoption, and then the trial that you try, and then you decide if you keep it or not. This is exactly the path of love, completely. So here's my tip. Think about love when you design. Here's something that I'm sure that when you attended I.O., you didn't think that you're going to hear. Each of you is working on an application or part of an application or module or so. Try to think about the project that you are working right now as human being. Call him, give it a name, and try to think what will make other people love this person. Again, think about the application that you are working now as human being and try to think what will make people love it. You'll be surprised. So we know but now that we are falling in love with applications, and we know but now that hopefully we are using it subconsciously. So here's a great question. What makes us fall in love with a certain person? As you understand the logic of this talk by now, I always start talking about human beings and then switch to applications. So here are results of a 20,000 people, men actually, survey in Yotango, which were asked, what attracts you? As simple as that. And here goes the data. First of all, sexual chemistry. God knows what it is, but it's something has to do with sexual chemistry. And then comes the smile, then the kindness, then sense of humor. 5th place, general body type. Love this one. General body type. Probably the way she looks. And then the eyes, and then the intelligence, then communication skills, teeth and lips, and finally hair. And I keep telling my wife, invest your time in improving your smile, not making up your hair, but she don't listen to me. So this is what happened when you fall in love. This is what attracts men. 3 months later, here are the results. It's changing. For example, sexual chemistry drops from the first place to the 4th place. Smile goes to the 6th place. Kindness, surprise, surprise, 1st place. And sense of humor, 2nd place. Anybody can predict what would be the next? Very simple. It's written on the board. Communication skills from 8th place to the 3rd place. Surprising. This is the picture how it looks. Now, there's something really serious here. You have to think about what attracts human beings to human beings when you design applications, right? So you have to think about it not only during the launch of the application, but few months later. And we're going to get back to that very, very soon. But let's get back to the first impression. I have marked in red few items. It's the smile, it's the general body type, it's the eye, it's the teeth and lips, and it's the hair. Why is that? All of them has in common one thing. They are visual. 5 out of 10 characteristics, which actually drives our attention while getting attracted to a person, are visual. Therefore, when you design application, you have to think about the visuals very, very carefully. Now, if I would tell you, make great looking applications, it's like telling nothing. You have to know what to do. So back to the 17th century, really. 17th century, the golden ratio was presented. That is, if we have a picture with distinguished area inside it, the ratio between the length and the size of the areas will determine if it will be perceived as beautiful or not. And these are the correct ratios. Here is an example. Well, let's turn it, and let's see this picture. Recognize this lady? The Mona Lisa. She's not the most beautiful woman on earth. She's not such smashing, but when you see this picture, people can't move their eyes off it. Why? I guess that you guessed by now. Because she completely, exactly obeyed the golden ratio. Now let's turn into a more ugly face, also known as me. Okay? So this is Google Plus. Sorry, this is Google Plus, and you can see the upper section here. And surprise, 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 golden ratio works here just almost perfect. A little tip to Google, just make this part of the screen this picture a little bit wider and you're perfect. But it's almost there. This is why we are attracted to that. So here's my tip, create beautiful interfaces. Again, forget it, never mind. I thought that you will be fun, you laugh at that, but okay. I was crashing jokes. Okay, just a short reminder. We are using subconscious mating patterns. And therefore, a short question. What is this? It's Google Play? Forget about it. It's a bar. It's a bar full of beautiful people. When you get into a bar and you want to talk to someone tonight, have beer, talk, and chat, and so forth, you have lots of faces that you don't know, and you have to think or select somebody to talk to. This is exactly what happens here. Actually, I have compared the top 100 apps in Google Play to the lower 100 or the top of the line, and it can be easily observed that the graphics are completely different, okay? If I may say so, you don't get a second chance for first impression. Now, I'm in the same industry as you are, and we are talking about lean startups and lean UX and agile development and so forth and short circles, but keep in mind, invest the minimum in graphics, otherwise people won't love your applications. So, we spoke about the way it looks. Now, let's have a deeper look about moves. Now, if you're talking about materials, there's a nice guideline presented only yesterday. Try to read it. And we're talking about the physics of the animation. Physics to animation. It should as a mass, and it should obey to the law of gravity and law of physics, and so forth. But I want to add something else. Let's talk about dance. I know you didn't expect it. It's okay. Okay. Dr. Nick Neve from the UK made a very interesting research. He took videos of 3, 4, 5 men dancing. Then he presented these men to women and asked them to evaluate how attractive these men are on a scale of 1 to 9. That's very easy to do. Now, in addition, he took blood tests from these men looking for genetical mutation. That is, how genetically wise, healthy are they? And surprise, surprise, the men that were evaluated as the more attractive according to their dance were those who had the little genetical mutation. Put it in a different way. When a woman see a man dancing, she can tell by the way you dance what would be the quality of the genes that you can supply her. Sounds weird, but it's completely true. And it doesn't work vice versa. That is, when a man sees a woman dancing, he can tell nothing about the quality of the genes. It was tested. Really, I'm not kidding. Now, what does it have to do with us? It has a lot to do with us. Women are attracted to the healthier men by the dance. Now, what is a good dance? He checked that. And there are 3 major factors. 1, it should be symmetrical. B, it should be smooth. And 3, it should involve body core movement, that is the torso, and so forth. Now try to look at animations that you know. All great animations share the exact movement patterns as great dancers. Why is that? Remember the CASA? Remember the theory that I presented before? We are using subconscious mating patterns. And this is exactly what happens here. When we see an animation dance, we actually see a man or a woman dancing. And we are attracted to this animation because it is a good dance. This is why good animation never flips this way, because you can't dance this way. But animations do flip this way. That was a lousy dance by me, sorry, but you know what I mean. And this is why animation goes down, because there's gravity, and it goes up. So here's my little tip for you. When you are alone in your room, alone, let me emphasize this point, get off your chair and dance the animation that you have just designed. If you can dance the animation that you have just created, perfect animation. If it looks something like this, back to the drawing board, okay? I'm really serious. That's the tragic of my life. I'm always serious and people laugh. No, I'm just kidding, it's okay. Okay, so think of animation as a dancer, and since I have only 2 minutes, I want to talk to you, last but not least, about how can we keep love going on. A short reminder, we all start here, and then unfortunately, we are going here, right? And this is exactly the stage when you, as an entrepreneur, or a software developer, or company owner say, oh, they don't love my application anymore. They don't like it. How can we keep our vows? Okay, you know the system by now. If you want to better understand how to keep the vows, we have to better understand what happens in our interpersonal relationship. How loyal are we? And we are not that loyal. Actually, when you ask people, why do you leave the applications? About half of them will say, because there's nothing new over there. No new content, no new interaction, no new visuals, nothing new. So I'm getting bored, it's not interesting anymore. It's just the same as many divorce couples say, people who want to divorce, she is boring, I know exactly what my husband is going to say, and so forth. Read some marriage consulting papers, you'll find that. So what is the advice to avoid this? Very simple, make it look a little different from time to time. That is, in a sense, you can take the graph from this point back to the love. Now, since it sounds very vague, here's an example. How many times was Google Gmail, changed during the last few years? Let's look at Android. It started in 2010, and then Gingerbread 11, and then Ice Cream Sandwich, and then Jelly Bean, and then Kit Kat. You can easily see that this is the same family of interaction. This is the same family of graphic design. It's just as if me and my first days of my marriage, the second day of my marriage, I found something new to surprise my wife, and so forth and so forth. And this is something that you want to do. So you should and want to supply constant minor changes, even though there's no technical or UI need for that. Keep on surprising your users, but keep in mind, don't make too big surprise, otherwise the guy you were just married is changed completely, and we don't want to live with this guy. So, I really want to thank you for being with me at the last session. Thank you very much. Thank you.